real right now.
Mr. DL.
222 222. Who's off? I could just lose your mind.
Yo, we are here, episode 74 of the Danger Zone podcast with
Big Shoot,
Mr. DL and
Chef Tanya Nicole. Welcome back, everybody.
oh yeah, it's been a good week in hip hop. It's been a good week in general. What do you got to start with, Big Shug? What's your topic of the week?
Hey, Chef Tanya Nicole. You never know what happens when the camera's off. I'm like, she had that look like, she had, wait a minute. You look like, wait a minute, don't turn it on. We must go in. We must turn it on. No, wait a second. Let me compose myself. Hey, Big Sugar, what's up?
Gotta get it all right.
Yo,
Gotta get it.
First and foremost, man, you know what I'm saying? Glad to be here. Glad to see y'all again, what have you. Also, I just heard, man, on the low. I guess it was on the low because nobody really did it, but Andre 3000 has an album coming out.
Oh, sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, on the Sway show, Killer Mike had announced that, you know? And
Nice.
he's like, he had let him listen to about 9 tracks from what I hear. And you know, actually, I feel like it's probably gonna be dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's gonna rush to buy it too, though. You know what I mean? Because it's like he's an iconic dude who hasn't like done shit in that long. So it's the anticipation. Because you don't hear someone like him, which people thought was dope when he stopped making records. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to be undope or you're going to be whack. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's more of a situation when cats is whack, right? And, or they was already making records and we've heard them and then they let a few years go by and then they make something you're like, wow, that's just terrible. Like him, I really don't even think that's going to be the case, man. I just don't. You know what I'm saying?
Interested to see after 30 years in the game, your first solo album. I mean, they did put out that double album, The Speaker Box and The Love Below, where one side was Big Boy, one side was... But it was still an Outkast album. They still could lean on each other. So I'm interested. I think he's super dope, so I'm just interested to see, you know, what it sounds like sonically, like what kind of beats he picks. Is the Dungeon Family, you know, like Organized Noise, are they going to make it? Like, you know what I mean?
I feel it's going to be kind of musical. You know what's crazy, though? Since you said The Speaker Box and Love Below, so you know that's where those lines came from. That's where that line came from in the way it is. Because of The Speaker Box, she gives me love below.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got that.
So
I got
that's where that came from, you know what I'm saying? And then it was kind of like, yo, and the bar itself is basically like, you know, I think about it when I was just basically like, listen, because I talk so smoothly, you know, I'm going to get chopped. You see what I'm saying? So,
oh boy, welcome to the Danger Zone.
The words
starting early.
That. And when you just said it, I never heard like the album get mentioned in the years. But I remember when I wrote that song, I was like, yo,
yeah,
that's perfect. But yeah, man, you know,
he popped up in Japan. Andre 3000 popped up in Japan last week, walking around Tokyo playing a flute.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yo, that's one thing about him too. He taught himself to play that flute. He learned that I don't know if he's trying to take a lesson. He can play the guitar. You know, a lot of things that dude
he can act really good too.
Yeah. So it's crazy too, because you just think about, you know what I'm saying, like what could be in that space that nothing was happening. But guess what? That space when nothing was happening, he was still, you know, being great.
Yeah.
So to speak. Whereas sometimes when that space isn't happening, when no music and nothing's happening, then people are dead. You know what I'm saying? Or their greatness is because of that. This dude is like somebody who musically or whatever went to the dead and returned. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And like, okay.
We also always just assume that they went to the graveyard, but they just stopped releasing music. It could be that. Like, he could just be Dr. Dre in it and sitting on fucking 10,000 records.
I mean, some people actually did. Some people actually did, like, die, as we know. Like, you know what I mean? You know, but I mean, I'm just saying because that's why they were great. So whatever they did lives on. You know what I mean? But like with someone like him who could stepped out, like look, Mace came back.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
yeah.
That was kind of like what to me, Mace is like a dope ass rapper, but it was kind of cornballian with
Cornballian.
You heard it here
yeah,
first.
it was kind of cornballian for him to
New words for the Urban Dictionary. Yeah, last week we had consu.
But when he did that Welcome Back Carter shit, because it was just playing on the cheesiness of that, like, you know, if you know the hook. But it was dope because he's a dope lyricist. But it's just that little part was like, you know, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? So, but if you could come back from chilling for years and make some dope music, or you could go be a minister or preacher and come back and get back into the game. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Have beef with your boy, and the next thing you know, have a successful endeavor together once more. Hey, life is grand.
So
What else you got popping around your collar?
speaking of guys dying, did you see that Big Pokey? Did you see what happened to him on stage?
Nah, I heard he collapsed though,
Yeah,
right?
he collapsed
Crazy.
and died on stage. Like, he was rapping. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, as they say, but you can see him. He's rapping. He does something like you could tell he feels funny, but he continues. You could tell he feels something. He feels something. He continues to go, and then he just collapses straight back, falls bam right on his back. Like, not even stumbled. He didn't stumble. He just fell backwards.
So sad.
That was it.
And you know, just.
Family.
You know, you're watching it on tape, and it's whatever, because the person was filming, and he wasn't filming him because he was going to die. He was just filming him. But then from his footage, you see just dozens of people run in front of him and take their phones out and film him on the ground, and it's just crazy, man.
But at first, I wondered.
What is
At
this
first,
first impact to
at
take
fir-
out your phone? Nobody thinks, oh, we should ask if he's okay.
But you know, in a show, it's only necessary, normal that it's going to take a minute before you realize what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Because I've been involved in some shows where a dude rhyming in our crew fell right through the stage. So we kind of knew something was popping, but the fans thought it was probably some of the shit.
Yeah.
Like part of the show. But we was like, damn, what happened? And dude was still underneath the stage rapping. So he found his way how to make it like out to the front and get back up there. But I mean, when he's doing the lyrics, shit was just like, bam. Another time we was doing a show, DJ Premier spinning because of the little light or whatever on the side got hot. So his jacket catches on fire,
What?
right? And it's smoky as hell, right? And the fans probably think it's a smoke machine. But we're literally like how to figure out to put out this fire. You know what I'm saying? Like we're on stage, fire for real, like 4-alarm blaze type, MOP type shit. So, but what happened was like, I said all that to say this basically, that it's gonna take the fans a minute to see if this thing is part of the show or whatever, you know what I mean? Then you realize, you know, like, oh shit, something's a little bit more than that, you know what I mean? So, you know, like the woman who they lowered from the helicopter over I don't know if it was Super Bowl or what game it was. They lowered her down in the road, whatever, and she banged off the ground or the turf, whatever. Yeah. She died.
What?
You know what I mean? Then
What?
they pulled her right back up. And like kept it moving. Nobody really knew, but her shit that was it. You know what I mean?
So speaking of DJ Premier catching on fire.
Oh boy.
He's on fire right now, talking about how when he was a young man, one of his early influences in the game was Travis Scott's father. Did you see this?
Right.
You saw this?
Who was a teacher? He was a teacher.
Yeah. His mother was a teacher too, I guess.
Yeah, but he literally had him like that's, you know, well, of course, you know what I mean, Premier, you know.
He says we used to call him Jack. The Texas native said about his friend, Jack's mom was my English teacher. He has a brother named Travis and had a sister named Sonora. They literally lived across the street.
They didn't live too far. Yeah. So,
as I got older, getting closer to almost junior high, we'd go over to the Webster's house anyway because they had a VCR. They were the first ones I knew with a VCR, and they would tape Soul Train, and I'd be like, "Yo, I could watch Soul Train over and over and over. This is crazy." So that was pretty cool.
Question. Hopefully he wasn't dancing like Rerun. But,
Hey, back then that was hot.
that's my man. You know what I'm saying?
So we got some beefs. We got some beefs, and we got some squashes. What do you want to start with?
Well, one beef that I think that I have. I don't know. You might have it. I don't even know.
Yeah.
He got
What?
some beef.
Pusha T.
Yep, got that one. That was it.
Is the beef with Jim Jones. Whereas he's subtly throwing some lines at him in his new joint that he got. I think he spit it at the what was that the
Drake.
Louis Vuitton show or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Right. And and I heard that Jim Jones is like kind of laughing, about it, or Instagram or whatever. But we'll see where it goes. Like, we know where the lyrics lie in that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's your take?
I don't know, man. I don't know Jim Jones, but from what I see publicly, I think he's kind of corny. I don't know, but Pusha T, I say would smoke him lyrically in a rap battle, but I'm not taking anything away from Jim Jones's stamp and his legacy. He definitely has his followers and his fan base, so. They're both on the same level, so that's a cool battle. Like it's tough sometimes when so and so tries to battle like an A-lister and he's not an A-lister.
You know what?
It's a little tough, but
as an artist though, they probably not on the same level. I mean, I think Pusha T is a lot more like going on over the years. You know what I'm saying? That might be even why he spit that thing, one of them bars about being relevant.
I would agree with you because I don't like Jim Jones, so I would just agree with you anyway. But you're probably right because he did the McDonald's jingle. He had a. But
I mean, even just the records.
Yeah.
Like,
the Clips records.
If I think of Jim Jones, I think of him being a part of the clique. With their
Diplomats or whatever.
With Diplomats and Cam and all that. But the one song that always gonna come to mind is the same song.
Yeah.
And
Pusha T went up against the best rapper of the time, and I'm not saying he was victorious or he wasn't, but he definitely didn't lose to Drake. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. Maybe that's what this beat is gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be verses. You know how things are. You know what I mean? So we'll see what the hell happens, man.
Right, so we'll go from the beef to the squash. Shout out to rest in peace to Takeoff. It looks like Quavo and Offset both attended the Quavo birthday celebration in Atlanta. Together, they were both there. They were seen. They weren't hugging up or anything, but you could see them talk. There was photos of them in a conversation. So
did you say Quavo?
It was Quavo, the new.
That's the new name.
No more Migos. It's Quavo now.
I was like, wait a minute. I said, did he just say Quavo? Or maybe that's another one. You know what I mean? So I like when they added Randy to the Jacksons. When Mike slid. So who knows?
You liked it when you added him? Do you like that? When they added him?
Jacksons had added Randy and shit when Mike left. Just for the visual. You know what I mean? So
why didn't they add Marvin?
Huh?
Why wouldn't they add Marvin? I wonder just to hit the we got a kid on stage still.
Why wouldn't they add who?
Marvin, he was the youngest of the boys.
No. What group are you talking about?
The Jackson 5.
Yeah. So who's Marvin?
The Michael Jackson's youngest brother. He wasn't a singer or anything, but he was the younger brother.
Yeah. So okay, because we're doing the show.
Yeah.
There's no Marvin in the Jacksons.
I believe there is. Hold on.
It's Michael, Marlon.
Oh, Marlon. That's what I meant. Yeah. Why wouldn't they put him up on there?
Marlon, Marvin, same thing.
No, but he was in the group. So he was there. You see what I'm saying? They added. What I'm trying to say to you is they added Randy.
Oh, Randy.
The numbers. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Wait, to make the numbers 5 again? Is that what you're saying? Or
that's what I'm saying. Records? That's the visual. That's the visual.
Oh, I got you. That's what I'm saying.
Because I thought when you said it, I said, well, maybe he's wondering why they don't put Marvin Gaye in the group. That shit was back in those times. So I'm like, well, maybe he's like saying that. But then I said, what'd you say? And you said Marvin. Nah, but his name was Marlon. But they were right next to each other anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously Mike was the lead and the talented one. I mean, they're still doing shows right now, the Jacksons, but without,
Yeah, I saw that on. They're doing them right now.
It's probably more of a Broadway type of shit now, though.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go to that show.
Well, people, it's like the nostalgia.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What's his name? Ringo Starr had a group, you know, and they want to go see this group because the Beatles drummer is the drummer.
Yeah.
Or Paul McCartney's group Wings or whatever. Part of the nostalgia is this is Paul McCartney. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the Beatles, but the people are gonna go. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like all the old groups. It's one thing that I always think is cool, like the soul groups, like the show you attended and
The
others.
Temptations.
When there is original still in the group. You know what I mean? Because people don't realize. Like for instance, was it the Temptations y'all saw, or who'd you go to see?
Temptations and the Four Tops.
So think about this. So the Temptations go all the way back and shit. And there's one dude in the group that is an original dude.
Yeah.
You think how many years that is?
Yeah,
you know, standing up doing little steps or whatever. And this dude it's amazing like that. Otis Williams, he started the group, but he's still in the group. That's crazy, man.
It is crazy, man. It's a lot of.
The Four Tops.
That's a
The
lot.
The Four Tops had
The
one
Danger
as well.
Zone.
You know what I mean? So they had one dude too. But go ahead.
No, I said it's been a long time,
The Danger Zone.
and I said that's a lot
The Danger Zone.
of pussy.
The Danger Zone.
Yo, you wow.
A lot.
Like-
Decades.
like-
Decades worth.
Like, do you think Smokey Robinson's dick fell off somewhere around
Oh my
1975?
I mean,
As they would say in the South, bless your heart and welcome to the Danger Zone.
You can let him in.
some guys do. Some guys, like, come on, man.
Some guys have all the love.
Some guys,
Some guys got
like
all
him,
the blame.
he's a like a walking icon museum.
Yeah, he's my favorite of all time of any music. That's my favorite artist. But yeah. Shit.
It's Chris Faraone.
Oh yeah. So I got two more stories. Do you want to save them, or do you just want to do them and then get into?
All right, you can do two more because then we'll finish up with the,
All right. So Cardi B came out today and said that she only spent $10,000.
Yeah, you see it, right?
Only spent $10,000 on her first music video. You talk to the average rap artist or even rock artist today when DSLR cameras are so obtainable. They'll be like, oh, I could get a video for this much, and I can get a video for that much. But back in the day, now I know this Cardi B video is new, so she way overpaid for that video. I'm gonna be real with you. But
Even for back then?
back in the day, I used EdOG. I gotta have it as an example for. To me, that video was just a regular video. They went out with a camera and shot some stuff in a car and shot some stuff on a street corner. And I bet you that video cost $30,000.
For real?
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you something like this. So, for instance, right, at the height when Gangstar was doing videos and stuff like that, those videos were regularly like 100,000 plus. That's still shit. And then I did with Diane Martell. Shout out to Diane Martell. I did my first shit was that "Treat You Better" single I did, and that shit was like 30,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I wasn't even like, at that point, a major dude. I was just a dude who got a little deal and was like, all right, let's make this song. You know what I mean? But yeah, that money. And now, motherfuckers bring a phone.
Yeah.
And they say, you know the words? You want to lip sync?
Yeah.
Which I tell you now, someone just did that to Greg Nice and shit when he was up here. But I'm gonna leave it at that. But what I'm saying is like, I'm never doing that. So
He said, I'm never doing that.
Somebody once did that to me too. That I pulled up. They don't. I said, well, where's the music or whatever? We shooting a video and shit. And he's like, yo, I'm just gonna play it on this phone right here. I said, listen, dog. Shit ain't major no more, whatever. That's cool. Yeah. But like, there's certain levels of shit I'm never doing. So I'm like, if you don't got no sound, he said, nah, it's just like you mouth the words. Because you know your song, right? Listen, dude, 97% of the time when you go to them videos, it ain't like you know every single goddamn word.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it up there. So when I told you I'm leaving, and I jump in the car and he was like, yo, what do you? I said, you know what, man? I'm open the back of this fucking truck, blast the system, and we'll do it like that. Yeah. Hey, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm like, yo, I'm not rhyming off the phone, son.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, man.
Yeah, we got Chris here. He just got here. Have we heard him yet?
Okay.
Is his mic muted?
Yeah, man.
Give us a
I
shout.
think he's up. I think he's up the streets. Let me go see what the fuck's going on. Yo, hey, guess what? It ain't Mr. Rogers in the neighborhood. It's Shook. What's up, Chris? Man, what's going on, man?
I think your mic might be muted. Make sure you hit
Chris,
that like
we can't
button.
hear you.
Subscribe to the Danger Zone.
Sorry.
That's
Now
all
you can
good.
hear me, right?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes
Sure.
you gotta.
Sure. What do you know about those old videos back in the day? I've heard that they were a lot of the times done on like promotional, like cash budgets,
Right.
and didn't exist on the books. They like exist in this weird gray area where even like nobody knows who owns the rights to a lot of videos, and they
True.
just what's the deal with that?
This is the part I know. Like for instance, I got some masters of like that Crush video and a couple other because they had went out of existence, and I don't even think you normally would have those. You know what I mean? But what happened then? It was so they had everybody caught up so much in the deal, like me, like oh we giving you $500,000 to do this situation, and then they would give guys money for the deal, and then they were paying outside of the deal, like for this other stuff. So however they were doing it on the shady side or whatever, I know videos costing like $200,000, and I'm like, there was nothing then to even think that, like, okay, that's what you pay. But then you're like, wow, come on, it didn't cost that to make it. You know what I mean? So
It's
crazy.
a little trick in publishing is that we use screenshots from old videos if we need to use like a photo of an artist and don't want to steal a photo from Jonathan Mannion or one of the big photographers. We just
Mr. Dio.
grab a screenshot, and it's pretty established legal ground. But I didn't come here to talk the law, right?
Nah, I mean,
Oh,
Yeah,
is
we
that,
talk every-
man, you just blew my mind.
Well-
Is that why? Damn, because I always wondered
Yeah,
why
that's-
every time a hip hop blog would share my music videos, the picture they would use wouldn't be one I would send the actual on-set photos, but they would always use a screenshot.
That's just them being stupid, because if you're giving them permission, they should use I'd always prefer to use a real still. I'm just saying if I'm writing about like Jay-Z,
Yeah.
rather than stealing a Rolling Stone photo, which I get in trouble for, I'll take a screenshot from the Big Pimpin' video.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's always kind of it's always intrigued me, this kind of like strange gray area for music videos and rights and stuff. But it also makes sense, it's kind of. And then obviously when everything went independent, there was no controlling anything. Everything was all over the place. So if artists wanted this shit to blow,
yeah.
they would do it. Nothing's changed. Got to put the effort in.
of course. We're gonna slide. We're gonna do the moonwalk a little bit, so we can say, hey.
Hey.
Yeah, we got Chris Faraone, man, stopping through. For all who don't know, I just know him to be the original media. You know what I'm saying? The original, who put it down on paper.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Before shit got wild. You know what I'm saying? Was doing our interviews and a whole bunch of stuff that I was talking today about you being in different publications. Every time I turned, you were here. Then you wrote something for the Metro, you wrote something for this and that. So, I always respected that grind. But just like, could you let the people that just, that don't know what time it is about Chris Faraone, give them just a backstory, update us to stuff,
Yeah, for me,
Yeah, you know.
I don't want to hear about
I
the
guess.
other two, for real.
no. So my basic. I started my career covering hip hop, and that led to a lot of covering politics, covering a lot of bullshit, covering the police, frankly. I still cover prison, parole, do a lot of investigations. I always say, I cover the cops. We had a big hand in getting the head of the State Police Association of Massachusetts put in jail for 2.5 years.
No shit.
So that kind of stuff. I ran the Dig Boston up until recently, but now I mostly run something called Binge, the Boston Institute for Nonprofit Journalism, and then Talking Joints Memo, where I write about weed, cannabis all day. So that's my life. It's all very serious, although half of it I get to be reviewing joints, and you got to see the amount of shit that I have around here.
I mean,
Show us,
it's
show
crazy,
us.
too, 'cause when you
Yeah, hold on. Well, I've been actually saving.
Oh my God.
Those are your testers. Nice.
yo,
Yeah.
hey,
I
DL
love
should
it.
show-
That's
Gotta
dope.
use those paper straws though. Make sure.
No, it's actually funny because I'm looking into that about like, how wasteful is it, and there's different opinions. But the truth is, like, I don't know, man. I got a lot more garbage from other stuff, but truth, a lot of that's tied to regulation, which is like the not so fun part of the weed game. Although, if you're kind of nerdy like me, covering the Cannabis Control Commission and all this stuff and watching them, make ridiculous rules. Even in Connecticut, I always like to use the example when they first had medical marijuana, they had to grind it up because, it was like, Catholic Church, like nothing can be enjoyable. So you're going to have weed, it's going to come ground up. Every strain looked the same, so we're still dealing with a lot of that kind of bullshit.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was crazy too, because coming from like me, growing up and weed being illegal and the freedom of people walking around and smoking when I would go to Amsterdam and seeing that like for real, like, yo, this shit is cool, and then I watched it obviously be that way here now and shit. People going to jail for joints when I was like a teenager, you know what I mean? So they had to see it. And then me and Guru, we'd always have a great time once we got to Amsterdam, because you're like, oh shit, just sitting around and everything seems so free. In that place, Christianity, I told you about out there as well in the Netherlands, where everything's just smoking and chilling, nobody don't give a fuck. And the dogs get high too. The dogs get high out there, no bullshit, man. But so let me ask you a question, Chris. You started off in hip hop, right? So
Yeah.
Did you start off in hip hop because you said like this is my way in, or was you really a hip hop fan, or the hip hop music is what motivated you, or what was the situation, man?
For me, like journalism is just kind of like a medium, just the way it is for, like film and music. Film is for a lot of people. So, sure, I'm a journalist, but really I like to get close to stuff, so, I love hip hop, and it actually started with, I heard somebody say at I think it was outside Club Expo at a Lyricist Lounge event. I heard somebody say like, get off the line because they wrote for The Source or for Giant or something. So then I started lying that whole summer. I started like calling promoters and getting myself on the list, and I got busted actually. And then I figured like maybe I should actually try to actually do it. So then I started writing for Elemental, was my first gig, Elemental magazine, which I know you were in. I got issues with you in there. And that's still to this day, one of my favorite mags. But, honestly, I treated writing about music, and I still love music. I still write the occasional piece. I don't have a local outlet for it right now. But truth is, I like to really get up there. I'm not about just like putting out the new single. I like to meet people, interview people, do, cute long Q&As, that kind of stuff. I feel even till this day, I'll give you one example is like an artist like Millie's. I have written about him, but Greg, G. Valentino Ball, Greg Ball wrote about him for The Dig, and that article still gets thousands of views some weeks. And why is that? Because this shit doesn't exist anymore. Like Suge, your story's been told like several times. Multiple writers. I've told other people did. Matt probably did. So national outlets. Now there's so many artists. Nobody's had any background. I mean, you got someone like Cousin Stiz, arguably the biggest artist from Boston ever, numbers-wise. He's an RCA artist. He's a millionaire. And they commonly say he's from Roxbury, even though he's from Dorchester. Why is that? Because there's no real good features for them. The imagine like that foundation document. No pun intended. But so that's what I did. I wrote a lot of that.
That's crazy too.
That works though. I'm a journalist. Let me in because you can vouch for me that I've just walked up to places. Oh, you want to go to this show? I've just walked up and say, yeah, I'm on the list, and they say, oh, you're not on there. I'm like, oh, I'm on Busta Rhymes' list. I'm his cameraman, and they're like, oh, okay. You know, and
It's a big part of it, you know. And honestly, it was a lot easier, like pre-digital. You know, I started. You know, one of my first gigs was for a random website actually, but going back, you know, the world was, you know, you could just kind of take those gambles. And honestly, I think you know, it's all very different. Also, when I used to write about albums, like actual releases, there was a service in that. Like I was either saving somebody $15, $20, or I wouldn't usually bash something if I didn't like. I just wouldn't write about it. But you'd write about things that were good because people had to go spend their money. Now anybody could go listen. I'm not complaining about it, but you could just go listen to everything. You know, it's not. So I think like reviewing music is kind of like fucking giving yourself a hand job, really. Look at how well I can write about somebody.
Hey, but that feels
else's
good.
art. I know artists have always hated it, but the truth is that people really used to look to me.
Dude.
What should I be listening to? And that provided a service. Now it's like not so much.
Dude, you just said some crazy shit. You just said that. Why review an album? Anyone can just go listen to it at any time. Like, it's not like it was. Like, review Big Suge's album. You know, you should go to Sam Goody and buy this album. But now it's just like, oh, Big Suge has an album. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna go read it. Oh, that makes sense. That was crazy.
Well, you know, also though too, if you think about it, back in the day, it was pretty much similar because if somebody got a hold of something, if you had the tape, you know what I mean, then I was going to tape from you. Like when people weren't buying mixtapes or they weren't buying whatever else, how you obtain the music, they would go get it from you. So those were a lot of sales back then that were being lost as well. Excuse me, I think I'm breaking.
I don't think it'd be an episode if it was Big Suge's phone interrupting. At least once.
That's not even my phone though.
Oh, Skype sounded like.
That's my son's shit, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
It runs in the family.
Yeah, sometimes it goes in there. Yo, you
So,
funny as hell. Not all the time. But go ahead.
Hater.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, I want to see you two especially, or you, anybody ready? Pick this. You know, somebody hooked me up with this the other day. Is this real from California or illicit market?
Hold on, man. I'm trying to see. My shit got
Say
mad
illicit.
small.
Ghost-faced weed. It's like Ghost says.
I'm gonna say
Los Angeles.
yeah, I'm just gonna say that's pack weed, $1,000 pound of weed put into. I haven't seen the weed, so don't quote me. But I'm gonna say that just by looking at what it's in, I'm gonna say that's pack weed, $800,000 a pound weed, sold for $40 an eighth.
It's really stinky.
Oh, it looks pretty good.
It looks like it's packed.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see the weed, but it's like
I just know whether
weed has
the
become
weed is good or not. I was wondering if this is real or not.
weed has become packaging. That's all it has become.
Like candy.
Yeah, it's like you
That
know
looks
that's
cool.
you know I could show you the most fire purple train wreck you ever seen in a turkey bag, and then they'd be like, oh, well, how come the bag don't have a ghost wearing a hat on it? Fucking. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, man.
fucking Ziploc bags and turkey bags. That's all you need.
Hey, I'll give you credit, man. You were rapping about dabs before I even basically knew what they were. I think, man.
Bro, I've
been around this shit too. So
You dab, so you know. I used to do dabs on stage during
I know,
or
dude,
performance.
I know, which is a ridiculous, really a ridiculous thing to take on. You know,
I would
considering the
That's one of
delicate rigs.
So yeah, but those events were fun though. Those rallies, that dealing with the people was kind of a nightmare all the time, but the events were always fun.
Mass Can has always had it's always like got to be like a totally disorganized thing and come through at the last second.
This is what it is. I'm gonna break it down.
Tradition.
It's
boy.
it's your typical stoner trying to manage something. It's your movie. It's Kelso from that '70s show.
With 30,000
Hi.
people.
Yeah.
Hi.
Trying to put events on and trying to like run a business, and it's like, nah, man, nah.
It is one hell of a phenomenon, I'll say, because even with league, like anything, you could always predict it's not going to happen. It's or for the licensing reason, permit reasons, or because like who would go when there's weed everywhere? But there's still 30,000 15-year-olds show up every
every year like clockwork, and
Yeah.
I can't hate on it.
No, I can't hate on it. More power to them, but I feel like
Oh,
I don't know where those people find. I don't know. I'd like to know, like, where do those 15-year-olds, where do all these people find out about the Boston Freedom Rally? It's a serious question. I've always wondered because I was like,
they're like anthropologists who showed it. That something like that, a weed party in Boston. I mean, how quickly that'll spread.
yeah,
I mean, look, the way young people text, especially. Listen to me sounding old as fuck, but you know, I can't
Especially
stand-
when you say young people.
they use them little pictures instead of words.
can you hear me?
They'll put a
Can you hear me?
park,
Yeah, we hear you.
weed,
Huh?
all the time.
We hear you.
Oh, I didn't know because I'm trying to see. This thing says mute, unmute, some crazy shit. Go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You know.
No,
So
we were-
listen,
Go ahead.
your major, but it's like right now. Do you feel that you're more writing involved or cannabis involved? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I both. I write about cannabis, but I edit a lot. So a lot of the investigation stuff, that's
Right.
not me as the writer. But on the weed side, I will say, and you know, people have said to me, like, I haven't been this like enthusiastic as a reporter, like out there covering shit day in, day out, like in the field since I was covering, you know, hip hop 15 years ago. Like, honestly, it's nice. And, you know, that's always where my heart is. I got to say, I went from a weed event to to the street festival where you were performing last week, where I saw you guys,
Yeah.
which was
That was
awesome. That was
Yeah.
really a great time, by the way. And it listen, nothing against the cannabis world, but it's still, you know, it's somewhat professional, even though everyone's
Yeah.
getting fucked up. But also, like, you know, people don't really know each other. And I've known, you know, everybody I saw at the hip hop event for years. But also, I think like there's this kind of like there's almost like
The
bullshit
game's been destroyed, man. It's
airedness, you know, bullshit
it's
to the
gone.
air in the weed environment, whereas the hip hop world, you know, it just seems a lot realer. People are cooler with each other. But, you know,
I think they destroyed the cannabis industry. Like, not the industry. The industry is thriving and it is what it is.
Oh.
But they have
I don't know if it's
destroyed
Oh.
the culture. The cannabis culture has been destroyed. In my personal opinion, it has become Mickey Mouse kind of. And you know, I know everyone, the average person, doesn't care about that kind of stuff, but I do care about that kind of stuff because I come from a place where all these people were up on hills fucking hiding from the federal government and helicopters growing weed so people in Massachusetts and Rhode Island and Florida and this and that could smoke weed. And then for 40 years they were heroes and they were this and that. And then all of a sudden they were thugs and they were criminals and they were against progression and this and that. And those places, beautiful places, have turned into ghost towns. And those people who kept the culture alive when they said you couldn't have it, those people are all gone now. Because
You're talking about
Trust
California
Fund Tommy got a dispensary and he got a grow out in Hooksett or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's
yeah, well, you know, I was wondering though. I mean, you'd be a good person to ask, and I mean, I'm like, there's going to be like more than 1,000 cultivations. I mean, that's clearly a lot of the people who are running them. No, I mean,
yeah.
now you have a lot of toys to play with, right? I mean, but one interesting thing has been watching, you know, legacy industry people kind of fucking fit into this world, you know, like become the growers, deal with the big companies. You know, I mean, you know, this place truly just is leaving, the place where the woman died.
Yeah.
In the, you know, and there's like, you know, 140 employees. You got to figure half of them, you know, used to grow and basically be their, you know, community supplier. So it's like, you know, it's interesting watching. You got to, as a reporter there, I ask people, you know, how are things now versus then, and you know, it's all up in the air. You're not the only person who isn't in love with everything going on. And also, a lot of people are losing their shirts, man. You're going to see more and more places going out of business. We've already seen dispensaries closing.
Yeah. You can never compete with commercial level grows of people who have 1,200 fucking lights and then be like, you know what? The street, it's 2,000 on the street or whatever it is. We'll just sell it for 600 because we can. And, you know, then they cripple the market but then and it's like all to get a receipt that says Granddaddy Perps to me and pay twice as much, 3 times as much. It's crazy to me.
All it is cannabis. All it is cannabis prohibition. Let me tell you one thing. That's the same thing with me. The same thing with me is when I rolled a joint for the first time and smoked weed as a consumer, like someone smoking weed.
Yeah.
I felt nice every single fucking time. You know what I'm saying? When I smoke weed right now, I still feel like I was 16. Just
Really?
for that same hit. That's how it hits me. So what I'm just talking from a consumer, it's like with me, like I like weed. Like they have these businesses now. They got Medicaid, whatever. At the end of the day, man, it's really about smoking too. You know what I mean? And if I'm good, I'm good. I mean, but everybody, whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
everybody
saying?
has a different experience with it.
I'd pay $500.
What are you all smoking?
I'd pay
What are you all
$500.
smoking for them?
I'd pay $500 for a joint that got me as high as the first time I got high.
Hey,
I
he
wouldn't,
said,
because the first time I got high, I didn't get high. I had
did.
to
I
smoke
got-
a couple of times before I actually got
I got
high.
ripped.
hey, Chris said, what you smoking over there?
Today we're smoking orange runts.
Whoa,
That's what we on today.
I like a nice runs.
Maybe we smoke. Well, we started with grape ape, and
Grape
now we're smoking
One of my
orange runts,
faves.
actually. So this might be one of these might be grape ape. I don't know.
I got some.
Oh shit, I'm going up the street. He's right up the street. I'm going up there. I'm going on.
He's going to
Yo,
be at
hold
your
that down,
door
Chris.
in 5, 4.
Sherb cake. Sherb cake.
I'll be right up the street. I'm gonna drive up there. and see.
That's another thing that's tough about the cannabis industry is, all right, so sherb cake. Everyone wants the sherb cake. Oh, you heard about the sherb cake? So the grower goes, all right, I'm gonna grow some fucking sherb cake. Word up. So he goes and gets a clone of sherb cake, and he grows it up for a few weeks, and then he goes and flowers it for 9 weeks. So now he's at 12 weeks. Then he's gonna go dry and cure it. So now he's like 15 weeks. By 15 weeks, nobody gives a shit about sherb cake.
Don't hate on the sherb cake. Sherb cake
I'm using as an example because that's the weed he
No,
said.
I know.
I get it, but I'm going to counter you on one thing about this. As a writer, I will say this. One thing I do love is being able to, not like I haven't done it in the past, but now when I write about a strain or a product, at least somebody can fucking get it. Like, I always felt like an ass, like, I know you. So every time I would see you, I have like pockets full of like this unbelievable weed, but like I'm just an asshole if I wrote about that and told everybody, hey, look at this great weed because I hang out with rappers.
Yeah.
I get all, so, but basically now if I write about something, at least there's a chance that somebody can replicate that experience. And this is kind of funny because this is like back to what we were talking about with music reviews. I got sick of them when they weren't providing an actual service. I never liked weed reviews because I never felt it provided an actual service. Now, if I tell someone, which I will, go fucking grab something like this, at least there's a chance that it's serviceable, which is important to me. I don't like, not rhyming for the sake of riddling. You know what I mean?
It also comes down to breaking people's necks when you smoke with them in public, or in person. When they smoke with Chris Faraone and they hit your joint and they look at the joint and then they look at you and they look back at the joint. Now they're gonna take your opinion on weed. In the future, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this dude knows what he's talking about. I smoked this one time."
It doesn't hurt when it's a half an ounce joint, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, would you say a half-ounce joint? Yo, I remember Premier used to smoke Cuban cigars. Big fat Cuban cigar size blunts. I mean, for real, full. You know how them shits be packed for real.
Yeah.
That shit was like the whole Cuban cigar size with the best weed. So, I would bring friends. This is a little different, but I would bring friends from Boston, and we go in the studio, and I would tell them, I would prep them, before we got there, listen, don't smoke everything that's getting passed around. The shits is too big. And everybody wants to show off. They go in the they go around the rappers and shit. Oh, I'm cool. I can. Every fucking time I was driving back home in my car, everybody with me is asleep, knocked the fuck out. The oldest dude in the whole shit, like, I'm like, damn, I told these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But I swear, you can see it too when it happens too in the studio. They start looking stupid and shit. You know what I mean? Yo, hey, I don't know, you ever heard of Chris?
Who?
Christiana, a town in the Netherlands?
No.
Yo, I'm surprised you wouldn't have knew about that.
He's gonna go now after you tell him what it's about.
Well, what it was, it's in the Netherlands, right? And for years, especially in the early times of going to rap, tour, you go there, and this was a whole like city, man. Like it was like hippies, like it was stuck in time. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like how kids, dogs were running around like in packs.
Every time he
Dogs.
says it, I just
Kids, dog.
You must have been some sight for sore eyes there, man.
Oh, this shit was crazy. And then there was they sold weed. They had these little shits like you go in the mall, the little carts and shit. They're selling weed all in it. This is what they do all day. You know, my man, shout out the room. And then, rappers will come through. You could buy shit there, but, and people come there, business, everybody will come there. They had this big room like a cave with all these PlayStation shit, whatever on the wall. And the dude who ran that place, it was from Florida. But if you, now I told you and you peep the history, you'll be like, oh shit. So every time we went, rappers always went to Christian. The ones that are listening, whatever, they know what I'm talking about. And there was a dude named Rune who used to do mixtapes. You know what I mean? So he would be like, everybody come over there and blaze or whatever, you had to get popped off over there. So you really had to be, So I go with Jason and special teams and then they come and we all go together over there. And I say the same thing over there, like to everybody. I said, listen, these dudes smoke this shit, man. Like, shit is crazy. Like they smoke too over there. They had kids living there, everybody, dogs hanging out, cats, whatever, man. And they motherfuckers, them dogs are probably high as hell. So we go there, they stop playing music, we go spit 16s and shit for dude, and then all of a sudden, man, Rune takes a big candy bar, big ass candy bar piece of hash on some candy bar, family candy bar shit. You know what I mean? He sticks it in this big thing. It looks like this huge fucking horn or something. And you got to melt it down, and then you're pulling the craziest, knock your motherfucking head shit off ever, right? So I tell dudes, listen, you got to be cool with that, because, motherfuckers takes the crazy pull. You know what I'm saying? Boom, now I already know. You don't have to ask nobody. You can just see in everybody's faces. Oh, everybody's fucked. So now we're walking around Christianity, right? And I remember Jason says to me, shout out to Jason, he says, yo, I'm saying, I know you told me that shit before, but don't it look like that dog is talking over there? Right? When he told me that shit, right? And he might have been kind of right, though. But I said, see, you're lit. And I try to tell you. Dude literally was calm, literally, and was like, yo, don't it look like that dog is talking? I said, yo, shit was crazy. You had to always be in control, man. I just told you that little story because it's like, that was so big to us. And all the rappers at that time was going to Christiana. Just chill, I get weed and smoke, hang around in there. Shit was like the 70s stuck inside. It was crazy over there, man.
So does Primo smoke in the studio?
Yes, but he smokes like smaller joints now. There's no way that you could smoke the way he did like all our years. The motherfuckers would be like, yo.
No, because I know like RZA doesn't. I know everybody's got their different, however they do it,
But he does it, I would say it's grown man like. What I mean is like, I'm gonna chill, let me puff this a little bit. Not like, I'm mixing, I'm puffing, these dudes over in the corner like, passing this shit, rapping it. So it's more, I think professional. It's like with me, like I feel like when I go to the studio, like I don't have to smoke at all. You know what I'm saying? I can afterwards, but when we came up, it was more like doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, to me, like, let's get right to it.
I'm the opposite.
And he's like that with music like now too, so it's like.
I equate everything in my life with smoking weed. How far are we driving? I don't know, like 3 joints away?
Of course you do. Tanya speaks for herself. She's 5 feet tall. So of course you've been associated with weed all your life. Everything looks tall.
What does that have to do with wait, what?
I'm trying to say.
Back it up, because we're about to get into the danger
everybody's
zone.
tall and shit because you've been smoking for bad
Listen, I may be small, but I'm a Chiba hog. Like,
So I be
smoking.
Yeah, she smokes a lot.
You ain't got to tell me. Y'all both be over there like Eminem fucked up.
I didn't smoke, believe it or not. Like, this is so random, but I didn't smoke weed until I was 19 years old.
The whole man.
I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. So when my aunt passed away, rest in peace, my cousin was trying to get a hold of his friends, like to get some weed to smoke because he was going through it. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I'll smoke with you, Joe. I'll smoke some weed with you, whatever. And we went and we smoked 10 blunts. I never smoked weed. We went to smoke 10 Philly blunts of, you know what I'm saying, of that 90s weed. You know what I mean? And from that day, that's how I smoke weed. At least I smoke a lot of weed, man. I smoke weed like people smoke cigarettes.
That's some precedent to set, man. Hey, Suge.
Yo.
Suge, can you give me like a story to look into, like who in like the 90s or in Boston hip hop, like who had the weed? Like where did everybody go? Like what was like the spot, or like who was the promoter who had weed? Like, you know, statute of limitations is long up, you know.
Or are you talking like music? Are you talking musically or in the street or whatever? Like
anything. I just like, you know, who, I mean, you know, is there an unsung, like, you know, weed supplying hero of Boston hip hop from those, you know, like when I asked who the Adidas King was, y'all put me in touch with that dude. I forget what his name is, who had like the most. Fuck is his name, man? Anyway, but you know, I had to go to you guys for the information. So like, who would you say back then? Who was the plug?
Well, here's the deal, right? So, like me, I dealt with totally different people. You know, I was on the way over in Revere. You know, getting lunches. It was always the same. I don't think it was anyone like direct like that, really. You know what I'm saying? There could be something that people don't know, because see, the last couple of years of the 80s and the first year of the 90s, I was incarcerated, right? So when I got out, maybe by 91 or so, I was at New York like every weekend, you know what I'm saying, every month. So now everything became what I was getting out and doing out there. I was seeing what's going on in hip hop, you know, back home, because, you know, I still lived in Mass, but I was like out there a lot and traveling early, like, you know what I mean? So it's just, I never really knew it. Like, I knew people that are legendary pimps. You know what I'm saying? I know.
Okay, so if you want to do that story.
They got
It's the next episode, right, guys?
Just substitute pussy for weed. What's his name?
So,
New article.
Legendary pimps, though. I'm talking about, well, like, I see dudes now, and I know this is what they've done their entire life, and they still out here looking the same. So, you know what I mean? It's just, I know shit, like this shit you do know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I lived long enough to watch hoes become housewives, you know what I mean? So,
You can't make a hoe into a housewife.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's why
Rap's lying. The lying in the music.
That line is fake as shit, because I know women that were prostitutes for real, and they definitely married and kids and all that. It ain't nothing, because everybody knew like the hustle.
For real. Not
The hustle was what it was, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you don't know, man. I didn't, like I said, to get back to your story as I drifted a bit, you know, there wasn't no regular, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know dudes more in Europe where, when we go to here, this dude is coming, dude is coming with this. You know what I'm saying? Or in New York, there was this one brother who always came in with huge, the biggest backpack, like all the time in the studio, man. You know, my man, wherever, I heard he eventually got knocked for some time, because then, you know, it's like, you cool once you was always having weed in that fucking backpack, but when you started putting that other shit in there, it's a wrap.
That's when you get in trouble.
It's like when the gangsters started selling coke. Before it was just, you know, alcohol and, you know, maybe some women and some other shit, right? But once they put the coke in the game, that shit was sideways, you know what I mean? So wherever you at, bro, I remember you, man, you know what I'm saying, bringing us that
The
shit.
man with the big backpack.
I mean, there's a motherfucker in Europe used to bring weed and he'd have coke too, and he'd come in a helicopter. This motherfucker be like, you knew he was coming and shit. You like, oh, this motherfucker. You know, and he said, y'all want to, you know, you can catch a helicopter as a taxi from Estonia to whatever, I forget what's right next to it, but you were catching helicopters, you know, like, which I wasn't really too keen on, but I mean, that's...
He said we were catching helicopters.
I'm not with it.
I was like, I'm not with it. I don't
I'm not really
know.
with the helicopter.
And he'll be like this. So say he said, I'm gonna go get the weed, whatever. He was one of the promoters, and he'd be like, I'll be back. But dude will hop in a helicopter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like as a passenger,
Yeah.
go get whatever. And you see the shit when they come back, I'll be like, wow, these motherfuckers are flying around in a helicopter. I'm good.
So I have a homie who has his own helicopter, and he flies it, and we'll be ripping dabs, and he'll be like, "Ooh, a good dab. Yo, you want to take a ride in my helicopter?" Nah, man, I'm all set, bro.
Yeah, dude. There's a couple things you know, like it's an old David Cross routine. Is like, he's like, I like weed, but I don't think everyone should be smoking weed. I don't think my surgeon should be smoking weed. I don't want to.
Maybe on his day off, I don't care, but.
So there's always the good, you're out of town, got no weed stories. Almost, I guess, I know Suge got a couple. I know you got a couple. You got any?
You want my out of town weed stories?
Oh, I got
Like you're looking for weed out of town. I'll give you an example. So I was.
No, I trust me. I know. I got to do it.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's gotten a lot easier now. You know what I mean? I mean, I got to the point where I actually talk about. If you want to talk white privilege, I got caught smoking weed in Austin, not during South by Southwest, during a different conference, and I remember the fucking cop looked at me like I was crazy. Like why? What are you challenging me? Why are you just smoking a joint in the middle of the fucking street? It's Austin's pretty liberal, but it's still Texas. And I remember, after that, I just always I hate going to cities where weed was illegal, because there's so many, when it gets to the point, especially now, I mean, why go anywhere where it's not legal? Fuck that. Or where you can't at least get it. But yeah, as far as, I mean, I used to hang out, listen, you just go to I was covering protests and stuff. There are always a lot of drugs around. Mushroom. I mean, I would show up at some places covered during Occupy and show up in city. I showed up in Seattle. I had mushrooms, weed, everything I needed for very cheap within minutes of arriving there. I mean, it's the company you keep, right? I mean, you can always get your fake dro at a hip hop show. Everyone's selling dro. So that, I mean, usually, I just go to what I know. Skateboard shops, comic book shops are always a good place.
Don't tell the man.
No, one thing that was crazy about that is always an element, man. In certain areas, if you go or DL and you go somewhere, hey,
they're gonna offer him something.
You got to get past the part first, like, this dude might be a cop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty good at I know this sounds ridiculous. I swear I talked myself out of getting robbed in Los Angeles once because I was staying in Hollywood and I was actually there to investigate a crooked district attorney. And I convinced these three guys, I was like, listen, I don't have shit for you anyway. I will put up a fucking fight and this won't end well, probably for me, but I do want you guys to know that I'm here. Do you like the cops around here? Do you like the, district attorney? Like, no. I'm like, well, I'm here. And literally, I swear, we ended up drinking, and I had a friend with me, Justin. We ended up drinking a bag of, it was boxed rum. A bag of.
I love this story.
The five of us, for an hour and a half, getting shit faced. Me telling them the whole story that was going on. I was like a broke ass writer on the road anyway. It was better than a bar. I had the experience, but true shit. So I would always go find the element that but yeah, I as a reporter I've had a lot of experience, and as a hip hop reporter, white guy. So I had to prove that I'm a cop,
The same thing. I'm in Tampa, Florida. I tend to hang around in more seedy places than the average white person.
Think Urban Decay.
Think of that, and then you'll probably see me be like, "Hey, what's up?" Pop up, my hand on my hip. What's up? What's going on, shit?
You don't say shit like that. Stop.
So, I'm in Tampa, Florida. I'm at a strip club, and it's like a strip club where I didn't know they don't take their clothes off. It's like bikinis. They're in bikinis. It's
like in Jersey.
Yeah. So I'm in there, and this girl, she's trying to give me a lap dance. She's like, "You want a lap dance?" I'm like, "No, I want weed." She's like, we don't sell weed here. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sure someone here sells weed." I said, I'll take a lap dance or whatever. But so she's like, "All right, come with me after my shift and I can get you weed." So I'm like, "All right, cool." I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So I get in this girl's car. It has no windshield. That's the first thing I noticed. when I get in this girl's
It
car.
has no windshield.
Has no windshield in Florida. It rains every day in Florida. You know what I mean? Every day it rains.
Windshield, the fucking
Yeah,
thing
the
in
windshield,
front?
the front of the windshield.
The glass.
I can
you
touch.
know?
I can touch the hood.
That's the first thing you notice.
Yeah, it's the
I'd say,
first thing I
yeah,
noticed. I get in the car. I'm like,
yesterday.
amazing. So it's just me and this girl, and she pulls into this project like tenement in Florida. They're like 3 stories high max out there. You know what I mean? But they're big. They're long. And she goes, all right, he'll be right out. And this guy comes out. He gets in the car, and he like gets in the car and just sits there for a couple seconds, or maybe like 30 seconds or whatever, and gets out of the car, and then texts her and says, oh, like whatever he said to her. She's like, oh, I guess he doesn't have anything. So right there, I'm like, yeah, this guy, this chick said, I got this white boy. We're gonna rob him. You know what I'm saying? And this dude got in the car and felt the vibe that I'd probably bite his nose off if he tried to rob me, because I'd be 3 feet away from him.
Because he would.
And he's
like, why couldn't you get his? Like,
yeah, that's what happened. So whatever, she pulls out and she's like, oh, I know somewhere else, and that's when I did all the math right there where we're
He went
driving.
beep boop bop boop beep boop boop.
And so I
she was just driving you around until she found somebody willing to rob
yeah, that's
you?
what was going on. So she pulls up to a stop sign, and I just get out of her car. I'm like, damn, I don't know where I am. It's way before smartphones. I'm just walking through the hood of Tampa, like, oh man, hope someone got weed on this way back to the Nebraska Avenue where I'm going. Fucking, but yeah, that was like my only like, and ever since that day, everywhere I go, I bring weed with me on everywhere I go. I don't care where I'm going. There's
Me
weed
too.
with me. Yeah.
Even overseas.
I did an article for the Boston Phoenix once that we never published because I don't know. I mean, pretty obvious, I guess, but I don't. Where I forget the reporter's name, but we basically started him on Boston Common and like challenged him to see how long it could take him to find and smoke crack.
Jeez.
And I think it took him like fucking 25 minutes or something.
Wow.
That's
Damn.
right. And you know what?
He just shocked the fuck out of me.
It's so nice there.
I'll tell you one thing, right? There's 3 things you're going to have anyway. Right there, you're going to find weed at. You're going to go to, what, skateboard park? Oh, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't smoke. Hold up. You didn't smoke or drink though. You said at 16 to 19.
No, I didn't smoke it or drink. No, I didn't do any of that really. I tried beer like in high school. I tried like someone's like, oh, you don't like Coors? Oh, try a Bud Light. I'm like, wow, try a Corona.
Did you ride bikes at the time?
Not that age, but as a younger kid, at a weed smoking age where kids smoke weed, yeah, I was riding bikes. Like kids smoke at like 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? Like,
did your bike have a seat on it?
What? Where are you going with this big shit?
Skateboard park's a good lead though.
Oh my
Yeah.
Shit. I'm
I think since I was a tomboy and I always hung out with boys, they always had it, but I didn't smoke for a really long time. Like they would always try to get me to smoke, but I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Hey yo, but one thing I did hear from you, Chris, was you said, like I noticed, man, little bits of this conversation we've been having. We've been shooting this shit, man. It's good to be chopping it up with you. But you were, your voice like taking down, writing about, like say lawyers or what have you, and police and stuff like that. Is that part of your quest? Like, you know what I mean? Or is that just, like a thing you do? You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's part of, so I run something called Boston Institute for Nonprofit Journalism. And basically we raise money to do, because those kind of articles, like they take hundreds of hours sometimes. We're getting public documents. We're, calling people, like sometimes dozens of people. So we, it's unsustainable. Like there's no business model that can support that kind of deep reporting. So we do have a nonprofit, raise about $250,000 a year to do that kind of deep stuff. So like, for example, I'm bringing 3 reporters next week to the State House to dig through the files of more than 300 judges who were appointed under Charlie Baker, because we know that this is just a bullshit fucking favor process for his rich friends, and we're going to prove that it was all bullshit. Anyway, So in order to prove something, these things that we can show them in other ways, this is just tons of legwork and stuff. So, that's what it is. But as for why I do it, I don't know. At this point, I'm stuck. That's what I do. That's why I do the weed stuff on the other hand. Because it's a lot more, Well, I wouldn't say the work is always fun and I enjoy it. Man, that's beautifully purple. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like this psychotic sense of justice that I have.
So that's why you do it.
But, and the truth is that am I constantly aggravated about not being, we reveal this or that and shit doesn't really change? Yes, of course. On the other hand, listen, we've gotten laws passed. We certainly, adjust the conversation on Beacon Hill around important issues. We're doing a big thing on homelessness this year. And the truth is, like, can you fix homelessness? Of course not. Are there policies that waste fucking millions of dollars for no good reason at all, where the money could go to jobs programs, reentry? Yes. And whereas that's why cynics make me laugh, because nobody's more cynical than me. At the same time, I'm actually out here, doing the work. So not that people don't deserve their own opinion, but when you get into the deep of it, the truth is a lot of people who just whine about the government are right. But then when we report about the actual stuff going on, they don't always want to hear it. So one thing, and I will take some of the blame for that, and I'll leave it with this. One thing we are really working on, as a filmmaker, you'll appreciate this, DL, is like, is presenting things, not like I'm giving in and we're only going to do Instagram posts, but not everyone's going to read a huge feature. So connecting with people in other ways, doing podcasts like this, doing, but also doing, stories on social media, slides, stuff like that. Even if somebody just gets a little bite of it, some of this, like we're reporting, some of the stuff we're about to report about this shit, the cops that stayed on the job despite things they've, like, felons being arrested, cops in high-speed car chases, stuff that nobody finds out about. And I guess that's why we do it, because if we don't do it, a lot of this stuff literally will never come to light.
That's crazy too, because like I peeped that, and I've seen you seem very
Sounds like a
like
film.
involved in doing that. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked that question. I was like, so maybe we might see you have the Chris Faraone show down the road. Getting caught. Them say, hold up.
I love this stuff. I'm just saying the medium, though. I really do like, though, being able to like sit back and look at what everybody else is doing, and then kind of like paint the picture. But yeah, man, listen, I'll come on. I love doing stuff like this, free form. That's what it's all about, man. Especially for editing people's shit all day. It's nice to just be able to spill and roll a joint.
I used to have a class like that we would just sociology when I was going to Framingham State, and I would get nice sometimes before class and go in there, and they had us all sitting around chilling, beanbag type shit. Like one of them classes, I'm like, oh man, so I'm nice.
He said one of them classes.
I'm probably a little more. One time I was probably a bit too nice, and so I had like crazy like laughter going on. Like I had everything. Even the professor probably had to laugh a little something. But then he texts me in the hallway and he goes, "Yo," he said, "I smoke weed. I smoke weed. And this is when the shit was illegal and all that, right?" He says, "You smoke weed? You high now?" I said, "Yeah, I smoke. And he says, "I smoke too, but not in my class."
Yeah.
So basically, why don't you basically go back home for the day and come back tomorrow?
Yeah.
But it was crazy because I'm saying it was one of them classes where you just was like, you didn't have no homework, you didn't have to read nothing, whatever. You just to get in there and build.
Yeah.
You would build. I think it was something like a sociology class, but also like a creative writing type thing. But it wasn't no writing though. It was just talking, basically. You know what I mean? Of course, I was going nice. My man Haji, shout out to Haji, wherever you are, used to stop by the room and catch you. Bang, bang, bang.
The RA?
It was fucked up. We called him Haji because he was an Indian dude, but he was from, they used to have this show on way back called Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
It was the little white dude and the little Indian dude, Haji. So we used to call your boy Haji.
So,
Oh boy, the danger zone. The danger zone.
Oh, is that why it's called the danger zone?
yeah.
I mean,
Oh boy.
sometimes when we turn the cameras back on to connect with each other, you don't know what the hell they're doing over there. So you never know what you're gonna see. See, plus they have one of those little small hot dog.
So
They got the little dog joint, the little stretch, Bailey.
yeah, Bailey's here. So what you were saying about
I was teaching at Salem State for a while,
Oh yeah.
and I'd often teach that class pretty stoned. I think if you go to my Rate My Professor page, I think there are some comments about it.
So I went to college.
Like you were nice. And they know, hey, but you know what though? There's always been that teacher, man.
Yeah, I got the story right here.
Oh, let Mr.
So-
DL's trying to get it.
So like I said, I didn't smoke weed in high school, so I didn't get it out of my system. So when I went to college, I'm smoking an eighth, walking up to the door, fucking. So I'm stoned, walking into class, this and that, and I just missed out on a lot of knowledge that I was probably just sleeping through or spaced out through. But when I went to college to be a sound engineer. Shout out to my homie Pete Boards was my teacher, and I didn't know Pete Boards yet. I just heard the legend. I just heard the legend of Pete Boards. I didn't know him personally, and I said, "This guy." When I met him, he had a ponytail, everything. Like, how's this guy? And they were like, "Yeah, this guy right here." So I have his class, and he sits down, and he he crosses his leg over his knee, and a bowl falls out of his pocket onto the floor. Ding, ding, ding. And I said, "Oh shit, I'm getting an A+ in this class."
Just because he smoked weed, you thought you were gonna get
Yeah, it was great.
I swear that happened. I'm pretty sure I dropped a one hitter on the floor once.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. But yeah, I think Big Shook usually wants to ask a question around this time.
Big
Well, I
Shook, Big
got-
Shook. Don't you want to ask something?
I know that he has one, but I don't know
want to
if
ask something.
I don't know if it's gonna be a variation
Hey
of
yo,
it. or
I
not.
want. I want to ask something. I'm over here smoking on this Captain Crunch Kush, but on some other, on some other Kush of the week, Captain Crunch. Nah, but yo, see, I think they saw from the side that I was on my phone. So
Yeah.
they wanted to bring me back from the smoking zone.
Yeah.
And they was like, damn, they wanted to see what I could see and wanted me to ask you who are your 10 favorite MCs.
10?
10.
10.
Oh my God! Without preparation, seriously?
Off the
Yes,
top.
It
Sure.
doesn't have to
Or-
be
or-
for
you know
all
the
the
10 you like,
love of
10
your
10
life.
you
Just
like.
10 you like.
Yeah.
Ghostface. 12 QWEL. I always say that's my one that nobody knows. That fucking is unbelievable.
Okay.
They know now.
Let's say Cage,
Oh wow.
New. Both of those new.
Prodigy. Let's see. Oh God, you guys are fucking killing me with this shit right here.
Not being a baby, you know at least 10.
Hold on, let me get some records. I need
He's
to
doing
do-
the cannabis. He's cannabis in it. He's pulling out the notebook.
Yo, he says he's cannabis.
Oh, God.
He's like, yo,
Oh,
hold
look
on.
at
Y'all don't want to hear these rhymes. Oh, nice. There you go. I got that.
Look at that.
I don't know about the next one. What's the next one? I couldn't see.
Sure, you see that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Creators Home.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on. Hey, how about I mean, I definitely not just because we're on the show. I'll put Guru on there. I'll put Guru on my top 10. I think I'd certainly, you got to really be real about who do you listen to the most. Oh, Necro for sure.
Oh, nice.
Necro 100. Necro 100%. Jesus.
So he got some first though on his list.
Yeah, he got 3 so far. At least I don't know, but I'm pretty sure someone said Prodigy, so we got 3 at least firsts.
Let's see. Give me a second here. I'm gonna come up with some.
Four more.
Foul
Cuatro más.
Mau.
En la zona de peligro.
Oh my God! I'm forgetting my favorite. I forgot my favorite rapper. Planet Asia, #1 with a bullet.
Nice.
Okay.
I'll probably listen to him more than anybody else. Ugh. It's a tough question too because, MOP is like pretty much, one of my favorite groups, but I wouldn't put either of them on the list of top, solo artists for me. You know what I
Gotta
mean?
be because Cypress Hill's on my list, but Be Real isn't. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So if we're going like that, I mean, then I can just put all of Wu-Tang in a single category, and all Gangstar Foundation in a as one listing. Then sure, but now I'm cheating, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna be like anyone from New York.
Let me throw. I want to come up with like somebody like who really just kind of like blows me away. That who do I listen to a lot? That I mean, even if they're not one of my favorites, like who. I obviously listen to a lot of Jedi Mind Tricks.
Oh, okay.
Where are we at now?
New rap, like newer rappers who I listen to a lot, which I don't know if y'all talk about that a lot, like Rome Streets.
Yeah, I did a video. For him.
Ransom and Rome Streets. That album together is absolute fire. I'm a big Sky Zoo fan.
Yeah, shout out to Sky Zoo, my man. Yeah.
I always say Sky Zoo reminds me. Sky Zoo is the kind of rapper that like Jay-Z fans think Jay-Z is. Like Jay-Z's raps are not very smart. They're not very layered. They could be. He could do it if he wants. We've all heard him do it. But Sky Zoo, the way he really kind of puts the mustard on there, that he's really and obviously let's face it, Sky Zoo takes a lot from Jay-Z. Did
you like the just breathe for a minute? Did you like Jay-Z doing that rap at that award show when they were sitting at the table?
I don't listen to anything with Jay-Z.
What? Oh boy.
Okay.
So how are you gonna say Sky Zoo is this and better than Jay-Z?
Yeah.
If you don't listen to Jay-Z.
Well, Jay-Z just listen. I have no problem.
We fighting.
But let me put it this way. I mean, Jay-Z has put out more bad music than any great rapper. That like
even more than Nas.
Nas has put out bad albums, but he didn't mean to.
Bro,
he didn't mean to.
Last year. Last year.
I don't want to forget Cormega and Big Noid on my list too.
Okay.
Last
year Jay-Z put out a verse on DJ Khaled's album, right? That was talked more about and appreciated more than Nas's last 5 albums. One verse.
You're just a Jay-Z hater. It's okay. Listen. You have a right to your opinion. It's okay.
Let me put it this way. I was writing for The Source when the 25th anniversary came, right?
Oh, nice.
And because I had I don't know, I'd like gotten my first review in or something. I got the first pick of which 5 mic album I wanted to review, like and with a 25-year perspective. And I picked Reasonable Doubt because, I realized, how much that album meant to me, how great it truly was. And, to show like, I obviously Jay-Z is one of the greats, but now he aggravates me less. But I think he was just putting out so much obnoxious music from like Rock La Familia on that, just.
Yeah. Like he's not on my top 10 either, but I think he's probably the best ever. Like if there was a right answer.
The best rapper ever?
If there was a right answer, if there was an actual correct answer, and someone's like, I have the answer right here, Dio. It's right in front of me. Who is it?
It's not Chino XL?
XL the Beast?
No, I mean, actually, I think technically science shows that the best rapper is Inspector Deck. He's like, as far as
songs, man. He don't got no fucking songs. Like solo Inspector Deck song, he got no fucking songs, man. What songs he got?
Oh, dude, Inspector Deck's got some joints, dude.
What's he got? Rec Room? You're saying Rec Room's fucking compared to the story of OJ?
Rock, have you ever seen the list of how many words rappers use?
Yeah.
How everybody is like in this one cluster. This is the whole scale. Like, like a Southern rapper would be at the bottom, and then like Nas would be at the top, and then all the way over here is A$AP Rock.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You like A$AP Rocky?
No, I like A$AP Rock. Big difference.
Yeah, the guy he's like from Minnesota or something, right? Or
no, he's not from Minnesota. He's from New York City.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Slug Rhyme Sayers are from Minnesota. They're buddies, but different.
I thought that whole crew was from out there.
Hey, you got to give him a break. His first bike didn't have a seat on it. Go ahead. He was like, Dad.
That's such a Boston fucking put down if I ever heard one.
Hey, yo, listen, I made a record years ago like that, but I'm saying the funniest thing about it was when a dude said that lyric to me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you the type of motherfucker who ride a bike with no seat on.
I never heard that. What album, what song do you put like that real thing? I never heard that.
I think is it Massachusetts, that one with Termin on them?
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I don't know what song it is, but I know Hectic's on it. So if that helps you out.
Yeah, it's Mass Assassination. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, check it out. Because the dude comes up to me, though. First of all, he wasn't the only motherfucker. So I was like, wow, though, so why they like got that bar? They said, yo, you can't do it. Yo, you ride a bike with no seat on. I'm like, yo, you could just feel what that was, I think. When motherfuckers heard that, they're like, oh, what are you trying to say? You know what I mean? But DL,
you know what Suge's song is such a sleeper that I put so many people onto? Is Punch Out.
oh, yeah, right. That's
That
funny.
shit is perfect, man. That is just...
It's funny, too, when he told me that first, shout out to Static Selector, and he was like, yo, I got this beat. It's like from the Punch. Do you play the Punch Out game? And I'm like, did you play the Punch Out game? But I didn't, though. But I was like, fuck it, Mike Tyson, knocking people out was, part of like my life. I'm saying, so, the easiest rhymes are the ones that rhyme about shit. So I was like, okay. And it was crazy when I heard it. And then to go everywhere and people be like, damn, you did Punch Out. Yo, that shit was crazy. I'm like,
Yeah, man.
you know what I mean? Because then I see Mike on the little bike. When I seen the little game, I said, oh, okay. I see what's going on here. You know what I mean?
You didn't see Punch Out until that fucking song came out?
Basically, I didn't fuck with it. Yo, the only games I played.
It must have looked fucking crazy to you. Like, what graphics are these? This fucking
It did, dog.
2009.
I didn't
I
see
used
it.
to go down to the
I'm
Italian
fucking around.
bodega basically and play that game.
Damn.
The games I was fucking around with was my sons and them. It was what's that? My oldest son. What's that shit? They went from that Mario age, and then we was doing what's that fighting shit? Tekken all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we was Tekken the shit out of it. My daughter, all of us, we trying to whip somebody's ass all day, every day. And then we played the boxing one. It had Ali and all that. Like when this shit was going on, these are the games we were playing. Fight games or football. Like, you know what I mean? Or that, what's that? NBA Street. You know what I mean? So I wasn't playing Punch Out. I was like, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't these games.
You're talking like the years in between the games you're referencing are like referencing Run DMC and like Nelly. Like that's like those are like the gaps in between Punch Out and what like the games you were referencing. Like NBA
really.
Street, yeah.
NBA Street was, when would you say Punch Out came out?
86 probably, 87.
Definitely.
Oh, it came out that far ago?
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
yeah,
didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't see that shit. I didn't see it, but I didn't do it. Obviously, remember when I did it? That shit was in the 90s.
That's
right? You know what I mean?
That was probably after the 90s, right? Because you said Static Selector.
Yeah, probably was way after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
That's
It was that
crazy.
far.
Yeah, so that's why I was just like, wow, you never saw that game until 25 years after
bro.
it came out. It's crazy.
But then again, you know what's going on too?
I support Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson. Hey, imagine if you walked up to Mike Tyson 25 years after that game came out. I was like, yo.
You know what's going on, yo?
Just saw your
You know what was going on in 86 and all that? First of all, you sure it was dead?
I'll check it out, but I'm thinking it was 86 or 87 at the latest.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I was a kid,
'Cause
so yeah.
I was in prison, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was locked. And Mike came into prominence when I was out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I was younger.
1987. Came out in 1987.
Well, I was locked. That's probably why I wasn't seeing it then.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
My shit was 88, 89, 88, 89, 90, right?
Yeah.
But before that, it was the crack epidemic. So it was like, when you was playing Punch Out, I was out there, man, getting that. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I wasn't selling crack when I was 7.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't selling crack when I was 7.
No, but you know what? It's just bug. You said that, and I was like, wow, you know, so when that was going on, the crazy part is it was the height of the motherfucking crack era.
Crazy,
like,
right?
You know what I mean? So that when games was going on wherever, I'm in the street, like, getting this bread up.
He's playing a different game.
That was like
You know
the
what I mean? That's
Nancy
crazy.
Reagan commercial era. That was that time.
Huh?
Say no to drugs.
That was like the Nancy Reagan on the TV commercials.
The Reagans had it popping, though. Well, and the Reagans, all he used to say is, well,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I remember them, but I don't. I remember the Reagans, but I don't really remember them like
Yo,
that.
Chris, I think he smoked weed, though.
Reagan?
No.
Probably.
Yeah, Reagan, come on, man. Like everything they asked him, he was on some smooth shit.
Oh,
Like,
it was like Trump. They just injected him with stuff, man. I think, and I think he thought he was acting the whole time.
you know something? I'm agree with you with that, Chris, because it took a while for him to even be the president. When I found that out, I was like, oh shit, he was really, and he was actually a good actor for the time. You know what I mean? I'm like, Ronald, that's like Trump. When he ran for president, he probably didn't think he was going to win. Just like I feel that about Trump. I'll throw up the game, mess the game up a little bit, and then next thing you know, boom, I'm the president. Oh shit! You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now we go
supporters of Trump and haters of Trump can all agree on that. That I don't think anyone really thought that he was going to.
Yeah,
win
no, I think he would even maybe agree with that. But I gotta run actually. It's my family's leaving tomorrow. I gotta do some family time.
Well, before you go, let us know your socials.
Yes.
Well, really, Talking Joints Memo. Check it out. Really, all cannabis coverage all the time. Everything from products to the regulations, and all for the investigative stuff. Binge, Boston Institute for Nonprofit Journalism. Binge reports, bingeonline.org. Check it out. But you can just look this stuff up. I'm Fara1 at FARA number 1. Easy to find. Easy to find. We've been doing this for a minute. A lot of Googles.
Thank
What's
you.
that organization? What's that organization called again?
Binge, Boston Institute for Nonprofit Journalism.
BINJ.
Hey, listen. Even before I let you go, something I have to mention that I'd seen you pass. You spoke on it with the homeless thing, right? And for those who do know the open book, and some maybe they don't know or whatever. So I was once homeless. So like whatever, even what I do personally, that's not filmed about, like when it comes to helping homeless people or on the street, which I never looked down at, and maybe I might not have been like them, but I was, because I was homeless. So anybody who deals with that and reaches out and even help side or whatever, I always like, that's kind of dead to me, and I respect that, man. Just on that move alone. But
I'll come back. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'll come back and talk about it.
We'll let you go. But
you can come over here, Shug. We could go together from the basement.
When you come back, you gotta talk about the book you're gonna write on the life of Big Shug.
Yeah, you gotta write that.
Well, honestly, the truth is that the first thing I will say to anybody who has, the kind of story Shug does to do a book, is that the recordings from the, these podcasts alone, you transcribe those stories like you had 2 or 3 of them tonight. That's the nuggets of book. That's what you build a book on.
Yeah.
So the first thing I would say to anybody who wants to do a book is to sit down and do interviews for hours, which you're already doing. So honestly, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Just don't lose the tapes.
Getting 2
which
birds.
I know DL don't.
Getting 2 birds stoned at once. That's how we do it over here on the Dangerous Zone podcast.
DL ain't lose no tape. We appreciate
That
you.
jokes all over the place. I love it.
I'll see y'all later. I'll come back for sure.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.
Awesome. So that was awesome. Shout out to Chris Faraone. Got a lot going on. He's gonna come back and talk about some music and some more
because
stuff.
he said like we go do it in the basement, so that's probably what we really should do. You go over there and be like, "Yo, what's good?" You know what I mean? But what he said was dope too, because we know obviously you keep footage and stuff like that. You still there?
Yeah, we're here. We are here on the Dangerous Zone podcast.
I just see me, like that's why I was like, wow, what happened to my friend?
Do you see me now?
Nah, I just see me. But it's cool. I mean, whatever.
You like that? That's what you want to see anyway.
I think, why not? Actually, I see mad stuff on the screen. Must be.
So just the last thing, Tax Tone, the rapper Tax Tone was sentenced this week, or today actually maybe, to 10 years for a shooting. I think it was at a club in Manhattan or something.
He was doing what? Shooting at who?
In a club in Manhattan.
When did this happen?
This happened. The thing happened a while back. We talked about it already on the show. I just want when it happened. I forget. It was a rapper. Like wasn't like Troy Ave involved with it. You remember? You don't remember this? We talked about it like a year ago on the
Okay, that's all I know. Like a year ago.
So
this happened a year ago.
So the story is foggy, but I did see that he got sentenced to it. So
10 years.
And then one thing I want to say, we've never talked about this on the podcast. I would love Big Shug's opinion on this rapper, because I think this rapper's good. I don't know. But he disappeared from rap because he had a successful show on FX called Dave. But Lil Dicky, have you ever heard of him?
Lil who?
Little Dicky.
Yo, yo, man. Little Dick. Yo,
Little
you said,
Dicky.
Yeah, he's big. He's huge.
Little
he's
Dicky.
Big.
yo, hold up.
Pause.
Little
You said-
Dicky.
You said Little Dicky is huge? Is that
Little
what you said?
Dicky. He's huge.
Yo,
Huge.
man. Yo,
He's a
wow.
New York huge.
So, well, he's a rapper.
Wow.
He's a younger rapper. He's a TV show,
Little Dicky.
huge TV show on FX.
Little Dicky.
Little Dicky. He announced today that he is gonna release all the songs from that show as an album. I just didn't know if you knew who he was. I'm surprised you didn't. But yeah.
Remember we were
nah.
talking about how
I
he
mean,
was doing music?
The name's hilarious.
I
I,
did-
can't get past it.
I
Little
can't,
Dicky.
I can't really say that. I can't really. That name won't even come out my mouth. It's crazy.
He was
Hey,
on
I'm Dave.
he was on Sway, and Sway is like, "This is Little Dicky," and he goes, "Yeah, my rap name's a dick joke."
Little Dicky.
Hold up. His rap name is what?
Little Dicky.
A dick joke.
Addictive or
It's a dick joke.
joke.
Little Dicky.
Oh, man. So he told who that? Sway?
Yeah. But it was funny. It was like, but it worked.
Yeah.
He got it. But I just thought you would think that was hilarious.
The show's
No,
actually
no.
pretty good. The
I'm
show's
glad-
called Dave.
I'm glad the show's great, but I'm glad you never heard of him because your reaction to his name was exactly what I wanted.
I mean, come on, man. I mean,
So-
yeah. That's not a name they name people.
No.
People used to have that name, but not now, so it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
He's been around for
No
a
problem.
minute, so he's
No
having
problem
a great
with
career.
that.
But yeah, that's all I got for this week. You got anything?
Mm.
Nothing. Nada. Yeah, but rest in peace to
I can
fucking
think of.
that rapper. I never seen anything like that.
Big Pokey, the one who died on stage.
Yeah, so I just never seen.
That's the peak.
Yeah. Really?
I've seen people get popped, see people
I don't like
people
watching those
die
kinds of
like
shows.
that, but
Yeah.
just how he died and like put it like this. This is terrible that the man died, but put it like this. If you're a rapper, if you really love the game and you love rap, is there any other better way to die?
Hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like
That's just wild to me.
he died instantly. He didn't suffer. He was out. He was alive. And then as long as it takes you to be on the ground, he was dead. He wasn't moving. He wasn't doing anything. He was just dead. So
Wow.
like he really died doing
What he loved.
what he loved on stage at a major level. So I don't know. I just I'm not trying to make us think about that, but it's just kind of interesting. Like there's a lot of ways rappers are dying that worse than that.
I mean, what? Just think about it. Even in our lifetime, the way we've even seen that. Like that's the first time we heard of something like that. Heavy D, the last performance Heavy D had, and 2 days later he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Or a day after, something like that. And we had just seen him on BET. The other guy who died, I don't know if he was entertainer, but he could have been. And then he was they propped him up in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember that?
Yeah. But to see
You
someone
saw that-
die on camera, like the celebrity, is crazy. Like, what was that wrestler, Owen Hart? Remember him from the
Oh yeah.
the 90s?
Is that when his thing opened, right?
Yeah, he was coming down from on a harness from the ceiling or something, and it had a mishap, and he died in front of 50,000, 60,000 people. It was crazy.
It's crazy. But listen, before we jump in, I
it's
gotta
time.
go into the I gotta go into the archives, man. You know what I'm saying?
Stupid as hell.
Make sure you subscribe. You know what I'm saying, to the channel.
Oh yeah.
We have this channel that we're on. We have
Clip channel. We
Mr.
got
DL, the Ill-Managed Films channel. We have Big Shug clips,
Shoot.
some other little shorts on there too. And we have our different
Spotify, iHeart.
Yeah,
Apple,
you
everywhere.
say,
Everywhere you
I
want
heart
to
whatever.
see and hear us.
so now I got to go into my
Is it that time of the week?
yeah. It's just about I got to go into the archives.
Oh.
I mean, I got to go into my files. But at the same time, I'm actually going
boy.
to say a couple of them because next week we got to be out. But I just say one right now. The first and foremost, Bob Huggins, who resigned a few days ago from being the head basketball coach of the University of West Virginia. Bob Huggins. He had resigned a few days ago because for DUI. So after a few weeks ago, he was reprimanded for making a gay slur on the radio station. Whereas they took his pay down from being 4 million to about 1 million.
Ooh,
right?
that hurt.
Right. So, but see, the problem is the reason why I chose him as just being stupid as hell is because this is a man who you know, he coaches a university. You know, every time at a prestigious university basketball team, and every time like it's a player or something that happens, they want to magnify it several thousand times. But this is the dude who's supposed to be the leader of these men in this program, and he's going out driving his car and getting too drunk and knowing when you pick that glass up, you know what's up, you know yourself, you know. And I heard in the early 2000s he had a arrest too for DUI, and you know, so maybe you know he has something personal going on, whatever. But when you make decisions like that and you're an older person in that position, to me, you're stupid as hell. Because you're this coach, you're grown, extra grown, man. You're not a young man by any figment of the imagination, so to speak. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to, like, people trust their kids into you, the program, the school. You let so many people down, but you know what you're doing. Nobody ever forced you to drink. You know what I mean? No one forced you to get on the radio and make that slur either. So maybe the dude's just out of control, but right about now. Bob Huggins, who is no longer the coach, and to some it might be sad, but it's real. You stupid as hell, bro. And another one, which I couldn't find the name, I gotta look the name up, maybe you can while we talking. This woman was apprehended for posing as a high school student and enrolling in 3 different high schools. So this was a student at these schools that was a grown woman, you know, that they said was a formal social worker.
In Boston?
I'm sorry, I don't have her name yet, you know what I'm saying? But that was crazy. To me, that story stupid as hell. That boy was on the same.
Trying to go back to high school, be prom queen. Trying to go back to high school, be prom queen.
I could see going back to high school, but for the excitement, not for like, you know what I mean?
Kind of excitement. People telling you what to do.
That they didn't tell me what to do. That's
little boys with their testosterone.
Playing football and shit to do. I'm like, nah, but yo, so this person was stupid as hell, man. We gonna find a name, man.
It doesn't say her name. It says the Boston police are investigating a 32-year-old woman, but they're not saying her name.
32 years old woman. She went and perpetrated
Look up her name.
Little petty. That's what she is. Don't let the fact that she's a woman divert the fact that she a petty. Why are you trying to be around kids?
See, they're not.
None
of the things are saying her name, which probably means she's connected to somebody.
Now the crazy shit is because now it's supposed to be alleged. That's why. But
I see.
Crazy shit is that goes along with that story. Remember earlier we had with a grown woman played against in the 8th grade basketball team.
Yeah.
Another pedo.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Blocking shots, screaming in little kids' faces.
Or you have mental health issues and you think you're 16.
You can't make that shit up, man.
It's like David Ortiz. How old are you, David Ortiz? I don't know. I think I'm 22. What age do you want me to tell you? What age do you want me to tell you I am?
Also, we got one more, man. It's pretty stupid.
Oh, geez.
Damn. Now, I just hope it gets straightened out. We just stupided it out. This is like stupidly out of control. But Jack Jones, corner for the Patriots, the Patriots player, was recently arrested about a week ago for bringing guns in his bag, attempting to board a plane. Now, to me, that's so fucking stupid, right? Because, I mean, that's happened several times. Like you, Tanya, and Dia, I'm sure you've heard a story where someone tried to get on a plane with a gun. You know what I'm saying? So in this day and age, how stupid are you? You know, Jack Jones, I mean, he hasn't been cut from the team yet or nothing. You know, maybe there's something else to it. I don't know, we'll see. But you know, there's gonna be discipline regardless of what happens. But I mean, trying to get on the plane, and even that having a bag that you try to say they're yours or whatever the deal is, and there's guns in that joint, and if you try to get on a plane, that's tremendously stupid as hell.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, you gotta check your
Like,
bag.
where you going so bad that you need to bring your gun?
It's not even that. It's like maybe he didn't make like. I'm not sticking up for him because I don't know what he did, but it could be anything from I'm dumb to I just grabbed a bag, threw some shirts and
Like, he didn't even know
hoodies in
what
it,
was in there.
and that was the gun. That was the gun I used. That was the bag I use when I go to.
If it's
whatever.
a registered gun,
Yo.
gun.
I don't know. I mean, that oh shit, I didn't take
Like,
my
you should
airport
always
bag.
know where your gun is.
I messed up and took the gun bag because I was running late.
No.
You know what I mean?
I've had
But anyway,
one time.
man.
One time I went to the Middle East and I had a bag with me and I had my camera stuff in my bag and they searched me at the front door and I had something in my bag I shouldn't have had in my bag and they were cool about it. They were like, "Hey, maybe you can't bring certain things into the club." I said, "Oh my god." So I had to go back to the car.
Yeah, like I said, you should know where your ish is.
So I went back to my car. I had to walk and get sweaty.
Yeah, because now you knew what was in there. Like I said, you should
But,
have things that you
yeah.
shouldn't have.
So airplane though, because I pack. Like when I go on a flight, I get all my shit together. I definitely would know that if I had a gun or not.
Yeah, like I clean out the luggage. I'd be like, let me get everything, clean it out, and then I repack. So
I was so
yeah.
embarrassed that night at the Middle East. Oh my god.
One thing though too on the sports, another thing on the sports note too. I want to shout out again Vegas, man. You know, the Knights winning the Stanley Cup because the Bruins had the best record in the league, and then
Best record ever, right?
Big Shook, back
Ever.
up, back up.
and the coach they fired goes to another team, and that team wins the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Yo, go for it, man. You know, shout out to Chloe. I mean, I would say Chloe. I forget his even name. I'm bugging right.
He's bugged
Hold
out.
on.
Chris Faraone.
Monty
Shout out to Chris
yeah.
Faraone.
So shout out to Vegas, man. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get zoomed, sometimes you get zoomed out. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you get zoomed in, sometimes you get
Yo.
zoomed out.
But on another note, you know, we glad that, man, you know, y'all was able to come here for episode 74.
74.
Some of y'all caught it partial live, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all tuning in. We all do. You know what I mean? You know, just want you to know, so next week, you know, we're going to be at vacay, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be at points unknown. I'm going to be at points in the mountain. So we just going to be at points. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're going to Mr. DL gonna find some treats. One of the previous episodes, some other shit, man, toss out there at you, and you know, we appreciate y'all stopping through. Make sure to like. Y'all got anything else to say over there too?
Nah, we good, man. We good.
Also, yo, those who know me, man, you know what I'm saying. You know I do that hip hop, man, for life, but I also do that soul R&B thing too. I got a new single called Canine on the R&B side of things, man, with soul. So that's available everywhere at this point. If y'all didn't know, you know now. I'll be doing a few over the week. You know, shout out to the promo team, man. You know, Mr. DL. Hey, yo, promo,
Okay.
Promo with Mr. DL, and then my son Tremaine. Because they the ones really shuffling this around. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he'll do this, he's doing that. You know what I mean? But, yo, stay tuned. There's some joints, man. Shout out to the studio next door, the guys that are live, the band that played the music for these tracks that I'll be shooting at you. So this one is Canine out now. You know what I'm saying? Available on all platforms everywhere. You know what I mean? You know, appreciate y'all coming through. Always remember, excuses have no purpose, so don't make them.
Don't make them.
As we grow, we glow. You know what I'm saying? The team is the sun. That's us, man. We shining like that, man. Appreciate y'all. On my dark days.
On my dark days, I chopped crack on a regular. Ran up in spots and clapped on a regular. Took big fat ass stacks from the register. No matter how hard they tried, they still couldn't measure the hard I had.